New Superman issue 4, written by Gene Luen Yang and art by Viktor Bogdanovich. And we've been really enjoying this, and I think this was another strong issue that just kind of continued the same stuff. Now, we kind of guessed last week who the, what's his name? Not General. Was it General? Yeah.
Steel Dragon General.
Steel Dragon General, yeah. He's the leader of this freedom fighter group that popped up at the end of the last issue. And we kind of speculated it makes sense that that's probably Keenan's dad.
Yep.
And everything that happened during the fight and how he stopped the other guy from killing him told me, oh, this is Keenan's dad. Got to the end of the issue, lo and behold, it's Keenan's dad.
Do you know what? It was the whole thing when they were playing it up so obviously that I didn't expect them to reveal it. Like I thought, it's too obvious for them to bother revealing it in this issue as a cliffhanger. They'll wait and just have it next time.
Yeah,
I can see that.
But I mean, his dad is a super villain that thinks he's a hero as far as China's concerned, because he feels that China or the Ministry of Self-Reliance is a villain that thinks itself as a hero. So I like that dynamic.
I do think it's interesting because he seems to be playing up the idea of he wants like China to be more democratic.
Yeah.
And obviously, but we're seeing it from the perspective of what is essentially the Chinese government.
Right.
So I think it's interesting how political this actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if like there'll be a clear like who's the good guy at the end of this, and if there isn't, then you know which side wins and where does that leave them? Maybe that's where the Justice League, Keenan and Batman and Wonder Woman make the choice to go rogue and just operate on their own because they don't want to be like tied to these organizations and their lies and their because what's her face?
Dr. Omen?
Yeah, Dr. Omen. Actually, did we speak about a connection to this in one of the other books?
It was Superwoman.
It was Superwoman, yeah. I forgot to mention
they talked
that.
about Dr. Omen's work is what paved the way for Luthor to do.
Yeah.
But that's again, it was so just ham-fisted in attempting to connect everything. I was just like, well, let's see this out a little bit, because what they had said in Superwoman was she used that technology, Lena, to heal herself, basically.
Yeah. Well,
after Lex failed.
I mean that's back to the same problem that you had with her monologuing and it being kind of clunky. But I actually did like the connection. The connection itself I thought was quite cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I was saying back earlier on, that the whole super stuff is connected, and that involved New Superman with this connection here.
And New Superman largely would be one that is typically not been that connected. It's
because it's set in China.
Yeah. It was worth. I read those solicits we talked about earlier. I read those before I read any of these issues. So I knew that obviously it's going to connect more in the coming months because we had New Superman mentioned in the Superman solicit.
This was all born out of the last New 52 Superman arc anyways.
Yeah.
So it is doing a good job at weaving in and out. So, but I liked here too, like it looks like that was it Blue Condor or Black Condor or whoever the villain, Blue, is, has a robotic hand, right? Or is he cybernetic or whatever? So I thought that was interesting. Because Keenan just straight up crushed the hand, right? Was it Keenan or was it?
No, it was Keenan. He was like, if I break the hand, will it stop the control you have over this stuff?
Right. Yeah.
The book had the same sort of witty banter between the characters that we've all really been going to like, and it still is really good. Like these three characters like conversing and like making fun of each other, and him calling Batman fat, and then vice versa.
Still,
I really like.
He talks about his large stomach.
Yeah.
Just like, God, Keenan's such a dick.
Yeah. It was when they all went in back at the end and Wonder Woman started talking completely differently, and they were like, "Hang on, what's going on? This is worrying. She's not normally like that."
Yeah. All that stuff's fun. It's been like that the whole way through, but it's still probably the best part of the book is all that stuff. Yes. It just makes it gives it this youthful energy the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also the fact that they choose kind of to go with him to check on his dad. Because this whole thing is, I boneheadedly revealed myself trying to be cool, and now I have to worry about my dad. And so they're ordered to go with them, but they kind of volunteer at the same time.
Well, we had that connection last issue where they decided as a team to go and check this out. I get, without going through protocol. And here, he basically stands up to Dr. Omen and says, "No, I'm going to see my dad. I don't care what you say. If you want to try and stop me, you can try, but I'm going." Yeah. And she's just like, she gives in and lets them go with him.
Yeah.
And that was good. Also, another funny moments, and again, every time Keenan runs into Laney Lan, the Lois of this book, so she says, "Hey, how are you?" And he's like, "Hey, oh, I need to say something witty." She knows how. Like, listen to how she says my name. She's excited to see me. I have to be witty back. And he responds with, "Hey, Laney, you're just my type."
It's such a classic teenage fumble.
But you know the best part about it though is not even the line. The line's funny, but then the next narration box is just nailed it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really fun. Like I'm enjoying it.
It's her question mark response as well.
Yeah.
That got me.
Yeah. And then the awkward ha as well. So the other plot stuff that happens in this one is that a bunch of villains, including some guy who can turn into paper and like get through places.
Folding paper man.
What an amazing power.
Yeah.
So he breaks a bunch of people out that are part of the freedom fighters from this.
I have a question. Can Folding Paper Man fold in half more than 7 times?
Well, he got super tiny to fit into Ghost Woman's stomach.
Yeah.
So
there's a thing that you can't fold paper more than 7 times. I wonder if with his superpowers he can break that rule.
Although I think the bigger the paper, the less likely that's true.
It's not.
Well, they did it on Mythbusters and they couldn't do it.
Really?
There was a tarp-sized paper.
There's something where it's like if you can do it like 40 or 50 times, it would be long enough to reach the moon with just an A4 sheet. Because of the exponential growth each time you fold it.
Yeah, and it's exponential. That's what gets it. But you physically can't.
Yeah.
Because you reach the limits of the structural integrity.
Yeah.
Science.
I love Peter making Peter just look wrong.
Well, now he knows how we feel on aspect ratios.
Well, you know what?
Glaze over.
You could cut it instead. Then cut it and then just keep cutting it into halves.
Well, see, and that's going back to New Superman.
And stack it.
He goes. Foley Paper Man's like, yeah, I just give really good paper cuts. And then slashes the guy.
And throw it. Like, he slashes his throat. It's not just like a cut. He properly slashes the guy's throat.
I was trying to make it not sound so dark so I didn't seem like a terrible person for laughing.
I mean, do you know what it looks like? It looks almost like the T-1000 from Terminator 2. Like slashing someone's throat. That's what it looks like, except it just happens to be paper.
Well, they also have the human firecracker, who appears to be Keenan's uncle, who straight up looks like a Lex Luthor type in that suit.
Yeah.
The bald head.
Yeah, because he's got these big gloves that let him do these firecracking business. Also, their plan, apparently, is a weaponized form of Starro.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like Starro.
Yeah,
that
was a blast from the past. Yeah,
and here's the whole thing. I feel like Steel Dragon General is really about democracy, where some of these other guys just want to win.
Yeah.
So they're fully willing to release these Starros to get their way, and that's really not.
And kill prison guards, like Like, is Steel Dragon General okay with that? Does he know about it?
I think he might be, because his whole thing is obviously, democracy, the government's corrupt, because that's what that's what we're seeing. But as far as he's concerned, prison guards are kind of on behalf of the government, right? So maybe he thinks, maybe in his mindset, it's they're all part of it.
But willy-nilly, he might be like, well, if they're shooting at us, sure. But if they're doing their job, maybe try to come up with a different option.
Yeah.
And it seems
to see it play out.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, so the fact that they're willing to use these Starros to get their way tells me what I need to know about them.
All right, cool. And of course, we get that last page where he reveals that he's basically got a son. We have much to discuss. One of those pages. So yeah, that'll be interesting next issue.